So I was always the relatable guy as a streamer. I've always been very relatable. What does this mean? It means I'm not that good at the games historically, right? So it's not a secret, right? In Temtem, I was kind of infamous. The first game that I reached viewership really with, aside from a few friends, the variety stuff before that, shout outs to the OG crew. But in Temtem, I did 16-hour streams. I talked shit. I was arguing with everybody. And I wasn't that good at the game, but I had an off-meta team, Rejuvenate Mix. I kind of forgot about it until Awaga Kure reminded me because they used to watch Temtem and they came back recently to play Champions TCG. Shoutouts to Awaga. And it kind of reminded me of, oh yeah, I forgot about Rejuvenate Mix. But the point is, I always used my shit talking and my style of kind of being funny and my reacting to news stories and all this stuff as an excuse, as well as long ass grinds. All this was kind of an excuse because I wasn't good enough at the games, right? Like, it's not a secret. It's not like really that hard to tell. I always had to overcompensate because I didn't have the gameplay skill. And I knew it was really because I spent my whole life playing the drums and I didn't take gaming seriously until about 3 years ago, which when I played Temtem was 0 years. But the audience doesn't care. You guys don't care, right? And so I'm getting to a point with this. This is not a sad story. Oh, I'm so bad at games. Nothing like that. I'm about to talk about how this has actually changed. In Parallel, when I started playing Parallel, Champions, I was pretty competitive. The player base, there's some incredible players who kick my ass all day, but on average, I was fairly competitive in Champions. But when I joined Parallel, it was obvious to me that I would not keep up with the competition. Like, and by the way, I don't know, am I supposed to look at the camera or not? Like, everyone looks at the camera, I never do, so I'm trying to figure out, you tell me if I'm looking at the camera too much or not enough. Tell me in the comments. In Parallel, I didn't want to be that guy again. I didn't want to just be, I'm the relatable streamer. I'm not that good at the game. I just argue with everybody. Like, I just didn't want to do that anymore. For one thing, I've kind of moved on from what I would consider the shit-talking era. Like, people these days think I'm unfiltered. No, the filter is on. You guys needed to watch 4 years ago to see the filter come off. I don't want to argue with everybody. I want to hang out and be friends. I'll only argue with, like, people who are really being annoying. Like, I don't want to argue with everybody. And I also don't want to use, like, oh, I'm a variety guy. I don't do game. I'm tired of these excuses, right? But here's the thing. I've always been hard stuck. Whenever I try, I get hard stuck, right? So what's the answer? I think I finally figured it out. I think I solved hard stuck. Not for the pros, but for all you who are like me, who are beginner to intermediate. You're not top 10. You're not top 1%. You're like, you get close and then you get hard stuck in goddamn plat, right? You go play some Apex Legends, hard stuck plat. Go to Magic the Gathering, hard stuck plat. You download the Smash Bros. Slippy launcher for the online Smash Bros. Community, hard stuck plat. Like, if you're that guy, that girl, that person, I was you. And I think I finally understand just why it was so bad. And that's what this video is about. So in Gods Unchained, I almost broke through. In Gods Unchained, there was like a 2-week period where I started to get unstuck. I started to like get way better. I was always okay at Gods Unchained. I would get to low mythic and then I'd fall down to diamond and then I'd mauled and I'd climb back to mythic and we'd do 14-hour stream of control nature. But like, there was a 2-week period where I was really getting good. And it was when I studied with a bunch of different coaches. I had a session with Attrey5, a session with Kargis, a session with Villy, I think maybe a session with Meppo. And I was just talking and learning and getting coached by all these great players. And there was a moment where I was like just playing better, right? But then the Gods Unchained drama started happening. It all went out the window because I decided I didn't want to focus on Gods Unchained. And certainly there was a lot of things I could have done differently with that process. That's not the point of the video. But I definitely lost track of that moment where I started to come unstuck after probably like just after a long time of really just kind of never getting past that hard stuck plat wall. So anyway, when I saw the same thing happening in Parallel, I knew I couldn't let it happen again, man. I knew I couldn't. But here's the problem. Most of the time when people decide they're not going to be hard stuck anymore, they queue up for like 3 days as hard as they can, remain hard stuck, lose ranks, and then they mauled, like literally cry, like just defeat, right? And then you give up again. I didn't want to even start down that path. So I knew I had to do something different. And I remembered the Gods Unchained thing where I almost kind of started progressing towards like a new level of potential. And then I kind of like lost it with the business drama, the community drama. And so I knew the answer for Parallel was to find a coach. But what I didn't expect was that when I posted the tweet announcing that I was looking for a coach, hold on, let me find it. When I posted, this was the announcement, but before the announcement of who I picked. Okay, I'll edit that out. I was scrolling through Twitter and I didn't have it on the screen. I guess I'm gonna have to edit that out. That's fine. The point is, this is the tweet where I posted about 13 days ago that I was looking for a paid coach long-term to reach my true potential, and I had very high expectations, looking for an absolute killer who can unlock my potential. DM me, serious inquiries only. Important things about this message was, A, I specified it's paid, and I was very serious. I need like a real top player, and that I want to reach my true potential. This was not, hey, help me figure out a deck for an hour. This was like, I want someone to work with me for a long time until I reach my true potential. And then I was very happy to announce that Mookah, the #1 coach in the game by most people's measure, there's other great coaches as well, but Mookah is really the legendary coach. In fact, my very first Parallel content was when I joined him on stream one time to play in a tournament on his stream, which I ended up getting second place by pure luck. Never gotten second place in a cash prize tournament since then. Just high rolled like crazy. So it's kind of funny. It came full circle when I ended up agreeing to pay him to be my long-term coach. What I didn't expect from all that was like, it's even before the first coaching session, even before I even like talked to Mookah and agreed on a price and decided to work with him. Just like as soon as I announced that intention, I don't buy into this too much, like intentions versus like you have to do shit. Just intending shit doesn't get it done. But I will say, when I announced the intention to find a coach and that I'm like not just going to clown around, I'm going to take this to the next level, the energy that brought into my ecosystem, into my world was crazy. Like one day everyone knew that I wasn't that good. Everyone's very nice, but like I knew it, you knew it, I'm just like, I'm hard stuck plat, I'm that guy. The moment I announced it, that I was even considering a coach, everyone was just like, yes, Flux, you can do this, bro. Fuck yeah. And then I signed with Mookah, and then Goldy DM'd me about some sports psychology stuff. He's not a doctor. He's very clear about that. I call it sports psychology. He would call it mental game. I guess psychology technically means doctor. Like, it's crazy just the conversations. I immediately started learning things. And I also calmed down. When I started losing games on stream before my first coaching session a couple days before, I'm like, well, can't wait for coaching, you know? Like, it wasn't perfect, but it helped so much. And I've already learned a lot. So I've now had one coaching session with Mookah, and it was yesterday night, and I streamed today. I played about 4.5 hours a game, 16 games. Playing pretty fast. Games take a while in Parallel. It's hard to jam games. 16 in 4 hours was actually, like, I was playing pretty fast just to get that many games in. I went 9 wins, 7 losses, which doesn't really matter, but it was nice. What matters is this. From a combination of literally a single hour and a half with Mookah, plus starting to read this book and applying the lessons, this is what Goldy recommended. So sports psychology plus some actual coaching specifically for the game. Those two things made me realize that I should have been hard stuck. My whole life being hard stuck plat, I deserved it because I wasn't doing the process that would make me reach my potential as a gamer. And if you don't care about being a good gamer, you don't have to worry about that shit. But if you want to be a winner in the realm of gaming, for me, it's card games. That's my shtick. I play other games for fun. I compete in card games. Like, you have to do the right things. And I thought I was doing the right things by putting in a lot of time, queuing up and playing a lot of games. I was actually doing none of the right things. I feel like I'm enlightened. I've reached trading card game enlightenment, or at least I've been pointed in the right direction, and I never knew it was there before. Like, oh, walk to that. That's the goal. Walk there. Go down that path, and there's a destination. I was walking the other way. Queuing up, malding, streaming all day, trying to just find the new deck and then grind. Like, I was doing everything wrong. I can't even, like, get into all the stuff I've learned because the video will be an hour long. This video is just to say, I now understand there is, like, completely different mode for the person who's hard stuck versus the person who's reaching their full potential. Your full potential might not be number one. You might never be number one, but there's no shot you're hard stuck plat if you're really doing the right things. And you don't have some kind of terrible life circumstance that like makes it not possible. Like, there's actually a amazingly reliable set of things you can do. And if you can't afford to pay for coaching month after month, I get that, but you can get a lot of it for free by asking friends, your friend who's really good, they'll coach you a few times. Books. If nothing else, this book for $20 is probably worth about $10 zillion in terms of how much I'm literally like, you don't understand how much this book has made a difference in a few days after reading the first 5 chapters. So, like, I would encourage anybody who's watched this far, if you're hard stuck and this is resonating with you, try to trade in. Like, there's specific things you have to do, but on the mindset level, I would say, like, the best way to put it is you need to trade in your fear of losing, trade that in like an old phone and get a new one. And the new one is the curiosity of your true potential. When you are focused on the fear of your current results, you kind of lose the interest in what might be possible. When you think you have to force it, you feel like you're not strong enough. And if you keep pushing with enough strength, you'll push through. But actually, you're already overtrained. You're already redlining. You're already stressed and exhausted. And most people who are hard stuck, the first thing they need is a few days off. And then they need to work with someone who has a better understanding of the game than them, either a paid coach or maybe a friend or an acquaintance who's willing to do it for free. Like, anyone who's hard stuck, I'm immediately like the Flux's fucking diagnosis and recommendation is like, take 3 days off and then have 3 different coaching sessions with 3 different people. In parallel, you can literally find some of the best players in the game who will help you out for free if you ask nicely. And then, like, also explore some of this mental game stuff. Find books, YouTube channels, whatever works for you. Like, if someone takes a week off from grinding to do that, when they come back on, if they spend day 1 through 3 not touching the game and then not even watching streams, just take a break. And then day 4 through day 7, they have 3 different hour-long sessions with great players asking them how they can get better and explaining the parts they're stuck on and where they tend to mess up. I promise you. And then maybe you read a little bit of a book or watch some YouTube podcast stuff. Look up James E. Lower and find where he did some interviews. Like, find this guy. This book is blowing my mind. I don't know if I had no idea how old he is or, when, hopefully he's still around. I don't know. Point is, don't queue up again. Don't queue up again. Stop queuing. Stop. You have to, like, if you're hard stuck, you got to start to figure out what I'm figuring out. And I'll say this to kind of put a bow in it, put a pin in it, to wrap it up. What's fun in card games is winning, but what's joyous and satisfying in card games is getting better. Winning a game is like a short hit. It's like a cigarette. And, like, getting better is like feeling good, strong, healthy. Like, you know what I mean? There's the win and then there's the foundation beneath the win. Getting better and feeling confident that you're improving is so much more fun and more enjoyable than any kind of fun you get from, like, a quick win because I queued up and I got a win. Like, oh my God. Yeah. I don't know. My mind is blown. I think I've achieved TCG Enlightenment. I'll make more videos talking about specific stuff in the weeks to come. I want to do more talk to the camera videos. I'm still trying to get back to my, like, once a day-ish schedule. But my mind is blown. So anyway, that's all I got for this one. Thanks for watching. Flux signing out.